Hi everyone, this is Dylan from Shoulders of Giants, and I'm back with another video. So today I'm going to talk about Bitcoin. I know there's a lot of hype recently, so I'm going to go through some of the history and concepts of Bitcoin and help you answer, should you have some Bitcoin or should you buy some for investment? So without delay, let's go and look what's Bitcoin all about. So what makes something a currency? So generally there's about six properties that make something a currency. It has to be portable, so portability, durability, divisibility, uniformity, and limited supply, and also acceptability. So gold used to be the currency for the longest time because it satisfied all these properties. So let's take a look. Gold is portable. You can make it into gold coins, like small coins. It's durable. It's a precious metal. It doesn't corrode or sure it is soft, but like it's durable throughout the time. It's divisible. You can make it into smaller coins. It's uniform. So like some gold you find in Europe, Asia, or Africa, they are all the same because they're part of the same element, right? You limited supply. So gold has limited supply. Um, it's not easy to find gold. You have to do a lot of mining. So there's limited supply. Acceptability is also one because a lot of people accepted that gold was the currency to use, and then that's why it's widely used. And acceptability comes from the other properties. When there's other properties, then people will naturally accept it. So gold has all these properties. So we want to answer, does Bitcoin have all these properties? Without going too deep into the technical details of Bitcoin, I just want to say that yes, Bitcoin has all these properties. Portability, yes, because Bitcoin exists digitally in a wallet. You can take it anywhere. Durability, yes, as long as you hold the private keys of your Bitcoin, the Bitcoin belongs to you. So it's always there. Divisibility, yes, too. Bitcoin can be divided into smaller chunks. It's all just numbers, decimal places. Uniformity, same too. One Bitcoin exists in the US, it's the same in Asia, Malaysia, anywhere. Limited supply, true too, because Bitcoin has a total supply of 21 million Bitcoins, and people do this concept of mining, which is actually solving encryption algorithms, and it's also limited supply. Acceptability here, uh, it's getting accepted, and the market cap of Bitcoin is going into the billions, 300 over billion now. So it's getting accepted worldwide, but will it be accepted as much as gold or not? So that is the question we have to ask ourselves. So governments start to abandon the gold standard way back, like in the past, since the 30s all the way to the 2000s. So in the US, President Nixon finally stopped the gold standard in 1971. And Switzerland, they abandoned the gold standard in 1999. So previously, governments hold gold to back their currency, in the sense that this paper money that the government print can be exchanged to gold in the bank. But after that, governments feel that uh, because this gold standard, for whatever reason, they cannot grow economically or whatever, they decided to abandon the gold standard and only back their currency based on the production of their country. So based on, basically you can say, the governments of the world say, trust us, and we we back our own currency with our own production, with our own government, and there's no more gold standard. But then at the back of people's mind, the gold standard is always something to be aware about. So traditionally, people buy gold to hedge against inflation, and also as an insurance against the collapse of financial institutions and central banks. So let's say the right now the money supply is I mean, you don't need to go too deep to economics, but the money supply is controlled by the central banks of each country, and they control the flow via monetary and fiscal policy. Monetary is like whether they print or don't print money. Fiscal is whether they introduce like interest rates or tax rates. So countries still hold gold reserve in case something goes wrong. Let's say they do some calculation, they increase interest rate too much, they tax too much, they printed too much money, and then something goes wrong. The gold reserve is there to back up their money and currencies. So this is quite evident in China buying up a lot of gold over the last decade. And because China knows that in order for them to also be a strong country, they need to hold gold reserve in case something goes wrong. So why do you need an insurance? Yeah, as I said just now, you need an insurance because fiat currency is manipulated by the central bank, and they control the supply and flow of fiat currency. And if the central bank failed in their calculations, then massive inflation might happen, or financial institution might collapse because let's say the people lack the trust of the financial institutions, and then they would try to exchange their currency with other kinds of stable assets like properties or gold, and then they don't want to use the fiat. So this is a chart in of Bitcoin in 2017. As you can see, the price of Bitcoin shot up in 2017 here, up to this amount. It's around close to 20K, but never break 20K. And recently it is on a climb again, and it's closing into all-time high. So this means that, like over here, you can say that in 2017 there's a lot of speculation, but over here it's like maybe it's not that much speculation anymore, but maybe actually people are realizing that Bitcoin can actually replace gold. So before it was mostly speculation. Now there's actually a lot of people, uh, as say smart people or big companies actually buying Bitcoin. So let's say PayPal, they introduced a Bitcoin buying feature on their own app. Square has bought Bitcoin. Citibank analyst predicts like Bitcoin prices to about 200,000 next year. So MicroStrategy, a company, they bought Bitcoin, and some central banks are buying Bitcoin too. So like um, here are some like news articles. So PayPal bought Bitcoin, Square invested in Bitcoin, and then this Citibank analyst predicted 218,000 Bitcoin next year. Um, this company, MicroStrategy, they bought 250 million Bitcoin in August, and they are buying another additional 175 million. And then like MicroStrategy is a public listed company. They're not a super big company, but they're not like a small company. Their market cap is around 2 billion, and you can see that companies are already buying Bitcoin to hedge against like let's say the currency inflation and stuff. And some central banks are also buying Bitcoin. So as you can see, the world is moving into thinking that someday maybe part of gold will be replaced by Bitcoin. And so now comes the question for you. Should you invest in Bitcoin or not? So if you're thinking about investing in Bitcoin, you have to ask yourself some questions. So yes, if you want to invest in Bitcoin, if you believe in these things. So yes, if you want to have an insurance plan that's outside the financial system, and if you think governments are going to mess up their calculations in their fiscal and monetary policy, then it's good to hold some Bitcoin to hedge against inflation or hedge against like financial institution collapse. And yes, you should invest in Bitcoin if you also believe that it will replace gold in the future as a store of value. So, like I said just now, Bitcoin satisfies all the properties of a currency and a store of value. So, it's very possible that Bitcoin can replace gold in the future. So, or you can simply say, yes, you want to invest in Bitcoin because you see big institutions are pouring money into it. So, you said that, okay, they must know better than I do. If they are investing, I'm investing too. And this is the no case. So you shouldn't invest in Bitcoin if you think that Bitcoin is just the value is derived from pure speculation. And if you don't think there's much intrinsic value to it, and you are more of a tangible person, you rather invest in gold than Bitcoin. It's also perfectly viable to invest in gold. Gold might still be the predominantly main store of value for the coming years, and Bitcoin might be only just like a small percentage. So you might say you want to invest in gold instead, and you shouldn't invest in Bitcoin or less in Bitcoin if you have full faith in governments. You think the government is doing their job. They know they have like thousands of expert economies and you don't think fiat currency will ever collapse, then yeah, you don't need to invest in Bitcoin if you have full faith in fiat. And you can also invest in traditional assets like real estate and gold because it also offers some hedge against inflation and the financial system collapse. So not just Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just one of the options out there. And so yeah, that's about it. In conclusion, only you should decide yourself whether you want to invest in Bitcoin or not. These are just informations that I share with you, and whether or not you want to invest is up to you. For me personally, I would be buying some Bitcoin to represent about 1 to 5% of my net worth. Whether it's 1 or 5%, it will be determined by the coming few months whether I see there's a strong likelihood that Bitcoin will replace gold or not. So if there's a strong likelihood, I will increase my stake to about 5%. So I think that's about it. Thank you for watching, and if you have any comments down below, I would do another video about Luno Malaysia, which is a Bitcoin exchange, and how to buy Bitcoin in my next video. But if you have any comments and if you like this video, please like,